Welcome back to Black and White, the personal development podcast that helps you build your future one truth at a time. You know, most of the life we admire, even some of the lives we pity, is as a result of decisions. Not one big decision, not one big moment, but daily decisions repeated over time. We don't arrive at good or bad lives by accident. I know some people would begin to question that, okay, what of those that have gotten inheritance, this and that? I agree to that of course we can be helped into arriving into a greater and a better life. But we ultimately arrive at our future by our decisions. Today we'll be talking about a very interesting topic that we are all aware about, but I'm just bringing more clarity to the topic, which is decisions and consequences. The general rule is that we don't decide the consequences, but we decide our own actions. Because clarity begins when you understand that your future is shaped quietly by one decision at a time. One decision at a time. It takes a long period of time. And where we are right now is a summation of our past decisions. Now, those decisions might not be only our decisions, our parents, our environment, yes, but the bulk of what we do, or the bulk of where we are, is a product of our decisions. Many a times we make decisions based on pressure, fear, impatience, emotions, lack of clarity, and we make decisions that don't directly add value to the quality of our lives. And when emotion leads, wisdom definitely would lag. This is why decisions and clarity must come before confidence. Why are decisions more important than talent? You know, for example, you might find somebody that is very skillful or very talented, and that person is not achieving as much as you think his talent should. That's not because of his talent alone, because talent and skills can open the door, but decisions and disciplined decisions determine how long you stay inside. Two people can have the same background, the same access to opportunity, the same ability, and end up in completely different places. And this is not because of luck. The difference is not luck. The difference is the decisions we take. You know, many people try to mystify life in terms of, okay, what kind of decisions are we taking? We try to make them big, and the barrier to entry is so high. At Black and White, we are focused at giving you decisions that are practical, where that you can start from where you are and ultimately design and direct your life in the direction you want to go in. You know, earlier in an earlier episode, we defined success, and success is ultimately defined by what you want to achieve. It's not about becoming the wealthiest or the greatest. It's about achieving what you set to do. So it is saying yes to what you want to say yes to. It is saying no to what you want to say no to in the direction of your strongest personal desire. Like if you want to achieve something in life, every decision you make that is in the direction of that purpose is a good decision. And the difference between someone that makes good decisions and someone that makes bad decisions is not told immediately. It's not told in 1 month. It's not told in 3 months. It's not told sometimes even in a year, because it takes time for these fruits to yield. It is, you need to understand that our lives are a compilation of actions, decisions, and results. It is saying yes to what you want to say. It is tolerating what you want to tolerate. Your life moves in the direction of your strongest decisions. Your life moves in the direction of your strongest desires. And you need to understand that as humans, we can all try to design for a better life by making small, simple, intentional decisions. The power of small decisions cannot be overemphasized. Most decisions that change your life don't look important at the time. For example, the decision to sleep well or to sleep regularly, the decision to read regularly, the decision to save consistently, the decision to avoid toxic environment and information, and the decision to say no to distractions. These look like um, very simple things that anybody can do, but the difficult part is staying consistent to it. So as a family of growth, we have to continually decide to make these small, simple decisions. It doesn't have to be more than 5 decisions per day or 5 habits per day, like I would like to say, to shape your life in the direction you want. You see that these decisions are small, but they are harmless. The power of these small decisions that I've been listing is in the principle of the compound interest. When things compound, it's not 1 plus 1 anymore, because you are gaining momentum and you are moving much better. No one wakes up successful. No one wakes up broken. Both outcomes are built by allowing compounding to take effect. A simple decision you need to make, for example, is the decision to love God. And that decision you need to make is the decision to consistently improve your knowledge. Many times we refuse to stop learning. Many times we stop learning because we have graduated or because we are done with school. Learning is a lifestyle. Like you eat, like you sleep. Learning should be a lifestyle. The decision to add value to yourself, the decision to add value to others, the decision to be a person with love, decision to walk in love. It's a decision that anybody can make. And the truth about success is that anybody can be successful. Anybody. It just takes being intentional about what you are going to define success as, and being intentional about what you are going to do about your definition of success. The idea is good to be successful. Everybody wishes to be that. But it is in the action. It is in the action. When we take actions towards making when we take actions towards our definition of success, and we take those actions consistently and allowing the compound interest to take effect, we find out in time, we find out in hindsight that we have moved farther than where we are. There is a behold, become principle that I've learned about life that basically talks about whatever you focus on majorly expands. Behold and become. If you focus on problem more than you focus on solutions, you find out that in and around your life, you have more and more problems. But if you focus more on solutions, you focus more on solutions, you find out that although there are many challenges, you are overcoming them one after the other. That's the power of building and becoming. So if you read regularly, whilst it helps your brain biologically to become sharper, what you read, if it's in line with your idea of success, you will become it. That is what happens in prayer also. When you pray regularly, you become it. And the beautiful thing about success is that when you are past a particular level, you don't see it immediately. It's when you have gone much further that you now see that, okay, this challenge I used to have before is no more a challenge for me. And you can then, out of that which you have had, teach from that. Before making a big decision, I would like you to consider a few questions. Where does this lead in 5 years? if you are starting a new course or a new program in school, or you want to learn something new, where does this decision, the decision to stay in Nigeria, for example, or to leave Nigeria, where does it lead in 5 years? Number two would be, does this decision align to who I am to become? Jim Rohn will say that you should spend more time on what you are doing. You should spend more time focusing on who you are becoming than what you are doing. The truth is that if you do anything in this life, anything that adds value, you can be successful with it. You can be successful selling water. You can be successful selling air. You can be successful in speaking. But the person doing the person doing the activity is the difference. So does it align with who I'm to become? If you want to be for example, if you want to be a business person and you are reading about medicine, are you reading about it for your health, or you want to? So read something in line of your definition of success. Number three is, what will it cost me if I repeat it? What is the cost? There's always a price to pay. There's always a price to pay for success. So what will it cost me? What will it cost me if I fail? What will it cost me if I don't do it? Number four would be, what will it give me if I stay consistent? If you understand the lowest level, it's very important that you know that, okay, this can't kill you. So if it can't kill you, and it can only take you further. The worst thing, my father would say, the worst a person can tell you is no. The worst a person can tell you is no. So the worst you can do is fail. The worst you can do is not achieve the level of success. So why not try it? Why not try it? The average Nigerian life expectancy is about 56, last I checked. So most of us that are 20, 30, averagely, are already half of our lives, averagely. So why wait for another year before you take that action? Why wait for another year before you fix your life? Why wait for another year before you take quality decisions? With taking decisions, we need to understand that the power of personal responsibility and decision making are connected. Always, and we know from our second episode, the power of personal responsibility, that we never blame others. Because when you blame others, you lose your power. You lose yourself. When you own your decisions, you gain clarity. You may not be able to control everything, but you should be able to control how you respond to things. So today, not tomorrow, I would love if you start to make quality decisions in your area of success. You don't have to delay to read that book. If your exam is next month, you can start reading now. You don't have to delay to register that business. You don't have to delay. Make that decision and define your success. When responses become habits, habit becomes character, and character becomes a great destiny. So you can always choose your responses. Those responses again will become a habit. So a response I would love you to choose, for example, is a response of showing up. Always show up to that which you have decided to do. Make habits, and those responses will become habits, because the beautiful thing about life generally is that everything adds up. One level of success affects another level. So one level of success in an area of your life affects success in another area of your life. It really does. So if you are successful as a Christian, for example, your walk with God is great, you'll find out that it affects your personal life. It affects your health. It affects your mental transformation. It affects your purpose. It affects your relationship. So responses to show up affects every area of your life, and those habits becomes character, and those characters would also lead to your a great destiny. Your life today is a report card of your past decisions. It's an honest truth, and is one I would like you to believe in. Wherever you are today, wherever I am today, is a true report card of our past decisions. We can change that today. We can change that today, because your life tomorrow is written by the decisions you are making now. I want you to choose carefully and decide intentionally, because this is Black and White, where we are helping you to grow one truth at a time. I'll see you on the next episode.